You're listening to Civic Media. You can tune into any of our live shows on any radio station across the state with the Civic Media app. Find us in your phone's app store and listen anytime, anywhere. This is your WMDX Daily News Roundup for Mad Radio 92.7 FM and 1580 AM in Madison.
For 92.7 WMDX News, I'm Savannah Tomei Olson. We now know what caused that underground fire in downtown Madison Sunday. Madison Gas and Electric says a cable failure led to that electrical fire. Power had to be cut off to people on West Wash, although everything was back to normal within a couple hours. And the race is still on between DeForest and Oak Creek. Who will get Wisconsin's first Buc-ee's? DeForest just got the latest leg up. The company wanted to break ground in DeForest last year, but the roads around it need improvements, and the company is willing to pay for half of those improvements, but the village of DeForest cannot absorb the other half. So amid all this, the beloved Southern gas station chain started the process to build one in Oak Creek, but neighbors have now filed lawsuits against the plans there. The state budget passed last month includes money to help pay for the road improvements for the one in DeForest. Not all of it, though. The village would still be on the hook for a couple $1 million to make it happen. The DeForest Village Administrator told the Journal-Sentinel while they appreciate the $4 million from lawmakers in the budget, they need more and are hoping to get more in separate legislation. So with lawsuits in Milwaukee County and more money needed in Dane County, things are mostly at a standstill. And speaking of gas stations, it's time for our weekly check of prices at the pump. Here's Melissa Kay.
Gas prices fell 6.4 cents over the last week. The average across the state is $2.86 per gallon. This is 15.7 cents lower than a month ago and more than 53 cents per gallon lower than this time last year. This slight dip in prices last week breaks a 2-week streak of increasing. Officials at Gas Buddy say that as we approach the peak of the hurricane season, forecasts are showing favorable conditions for tropical development. They'll be watching closely for any potential impact on supply and prices as we get closer to Labor Day.
Governor Tony Evers is asking the Trump administration not to cancel money meant for revamping Wisconsin's unemployment system. The state's unemployment framework is old. It's based on technology from the 1970s. And during the pandemic, the high number of claims overloaded the whole thing, leading to long delays. The state has put tens of millions of dollars into upgrades and was set to get $29 million more from the federal government to help in that effort. That money was supposed to be used for modernization efforts, including ones that would help spot and stop fraud. In the spring, the Trump administration canceled $675 million meant to help update states' unemployment systems across the country. Wisconsin officials say canceling that money has really set their updates back. Now, the governor has written a letter to the labor secretary urging them to restore that money. And the robocalls are out of control. At least that's what Attorney General Josh Kaul says. He's warning telecom companies they're cracking down on robocalls. Joanne Krulatz has the story.
Kaul announced Monday that Wisconsin will join a multi-state effort aimed at illegal robocalls. The Anti-Robocall Litigation Task Force warned 37 telecom companies that they must act now to stop alleged illegal robocalls from being routed through their networks. According to Kaul's office, the task force also sent letters to 99 downstream providers that accept call traffic from these companies. The task force was created in 2022 and is made up of 51 attorneys general.
If you feel like you're getting tons of robocalls, you can add yourself to the National Do Not Call list. You can even block all unknown numbers from calling you, although that may include calls you actually want to receive. I'm Savannah Tomei Olson, 92.7 WMDX News.
A home run fest. Hi, I'm Mike Clemens with sports. Baseball. The Brewers wrap up their series today with the Pirates. Last night, their crew with 5 home runs to win 14-0 over Pittsburgh. Sal Frelick was the Brewers' leadoff man and hit his 9th home run of the season in his first at-bat.
It's always nice to score a lot of runs, but, I'm not, surprised by any means, especially when the offense is clicking like it is and we're getting great support from the pitchers.
Milwaukee with a 7.5-game lead in the Central. The Cubs losing 5-1 to the Blue Blue Jays. NFL. The word is Jordan Love had successful surgery after suffering a torn ligament in his left thumb against the Jets. How soon will he be able to practice?
I don't know until he gets back here and see how he feels. I mean, we'll see. Obviously, he'll be out this week. And then I would put it highly unlikely that he plays versus Seattle. As far as the practice is concerned, I can't tell you that at this moment.
That's Packers head coach Matt LaFleur with Sports. I'm Mike Clemens.
On your entertainment beat, I'm Pete Schwaba. Sometimes I want to love a movie because the poster looks so cool. Such is the case with Weapons, the new film from Zach Cregers and his follow-up to his excellent horror film, Barbarian. Weapons is one of those films I liked about 3/4 of, but it just couldn't quite close. The film stars Josh Brolin and Ozark's Julia Garner, and the critics love it for the most part. That's how I feel about this creepy film. I liked it for the most part, and pretty much recommend it. How's that for a sort of positive review? Fans of singer Carly Pearce were probably freaked when they saw the New York Post headline, which read the singer was rushed to the ER with a gruesome injury. As it turns out, she cut her thumb on a ranch dressing bottle and needed gauze. Kudos to gauze for making its first appearance in the Hollywood Beats. The article explained that Pearce would have to adjust by holding the microphone in her left hand instead of her right, but she was confident she could pull it off. It's almost like they're trying to trick you into reading things. The cast of Friends was mourning Matthew Perry long before his death, according to his castmate Jennifer Aniston. Aniston recently discussed the situation with Vanity Fair, saying the entire cast had done all they could for their friend Perry, but it just wasn't working. The star of the morning show even said at one point in the interview that Perry being gone is almost better because he is no longer in pain. Perry confirmed his struggles in his memoir, Friends, Lovers, and the Big Terrible Thing, in which he discussed attending 6,000 AA meetings, going through rehab 15 times, and spending almost $10 million in an attempt to get clean. On a lighter note, the article is complemented by the typical weird Vanity Fair photos, one of which has Aniston in a semi-formal white gown in a backyard, looking to the sky while using a push lawnmower from the 1930s. Garbage. Everyone knows Aniston uses a John Deere rider to cut her own grass. All right, Swifties, brace yourself. Up-and-comer Taylor Swift has announced she will soon release her 12th studio album. She seems to be really getting the hang of this songwriting thing. Taylor teased Swifties with a mysterious countdown ticker on her website before making the announcement on her boyfriend's podcast. The New Heights is hosted by current and former footballer brothers Travis and Jason Kelce. This is the follow-up to Swift's 2024 release, The Tortured Poets Department, which was the biggest-selling album of the year, selling almost 3.5 million copies on both digital and physical formats. It broke records for highest single day and single week number of streams on Spotify, interestingly enough, and maybe even more importantly, this was Swift's first appearance on the New Heights podcast. That's a good get for the Kelce brothers. We'll see if she breaks podcast records. For more showbiz fun, tune into Nightlight with me, Pete Schwaba, weeknights from 6 to 8 p.m. on the Civic Media Radio Network.
It is going to be mostly sunny today with a high right around 80 this afternoon. There will be a little more of that smoky haze from wildfires here today. Tonight, mostly clear. We'll drop down into the mid to upper 50s. Tomorrow, partly cloudy with a high right around 80. I'm meteorologist Sean Cable. Temperature now 65.
That's your WMDX Daily News Roundup from Civic Media. Subscribe to this podcast on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you find your podcasts. Find more news at mad.radio. The national news cycle never stops, but it can be hard to find news about your local community. Civic Media is dedicated to providing quality local and state news coverage across Wisconsin. With the Civic Media app, you can get notifications about local stories that matter to you and your community. Find the free Civic Media app in your phone's app store and choose notifications from the menu to tell us what kind of news you want to hear about.